Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're gonna do a thrift flip video again because I love flipping clothes that I don't wear anymore, and I think this is my episode 5 of thrift flip video. So if you haven't watched my previous thrift flip videos, I will link them down below, or I will put a card here of my playlist of my thrift flip videos. So watch them if you have time. So for today's video, I'm gonna be thrift flipping a midi skirt. It is a skirt with a gingham print in it, and it has this yellow brown kind of tone of color, and I wanted to turn into a two-piece set, a skirt and a top. And you know, it's what I'm wearing right now, and I'm really proud of how I did this midi skirt because I think I only have this kind of cloth left. If you want to know how I did this top and skirt, just keep on watching. So for our thrift flip video, I have this midi skirt right here, and this is the prettiest skirt that I've ever thrifted. And this one has a 4 buttons at the front. It has a gingham print pattern, and this skirt really fits me perfectly. It hugs my body really good, and as you can see, it does not need any adjustments at the sides. So basically what I'm gonna do is to cut off this skirt and make it into a mini skirt and create a top using the excess fabric of the skirt. That is my plan for this skirt. The first thing that we'll do is to cut the skirt in half. So what you need is your favorite mini skirt and use it as a pattern. Place it on top of your skirt and mark where you want your skirt and how long you want it to be. Don't forget to add a seam allowance at the bottom. I think I added 1 centimeter. The next thing that you will do is to connect those markings and draw a vertical line. I didn't use any rulers or any guide because this skirt has a gingham pattern, so it didn't give me a hard time doing that. So you will have this kind of excess fabric, so save it for later for the top. So my problem was this slit right here, because this slit is a fake. It does not open up, so I use a seam ripper to open this up, and it does not really open up because it has this fabric inside. And as you can see, the slit is fake, so I cut off those excess fabric inside to create this Brandy Melville inspired slit. This is how it would look like. So what you will need to do is just to stitch this part right here to create this slit. So the next thing that you will do is to hem the bottom part of the skirt. So I folded mine twice and just created this mini hem right here, so my skirt will not be shorter, and just straight stitch it until I reach the other end of the skirt. To create the slit of the skirt, you just need to straight stitch this part right here, and the skirt would be done. So the skirt is now done. Let us now go to the top. Using the excess fabric that I've saved earlier, I just opened off the hem at the sides using a seam ripper to have more fabric. After that, I cut off this excess fabric right here so that it would fit me and create this tube top. This excess fabric would be used for the sleeves of the top, so save it for later. So what I did next was I cut off 1 inch or 2 at the bottom part of the tube top. So I just cut off until I reach the other end. This would be used for the ruching of the top. Save it also for later because now we're going to focus first at the body of the top. So what I did here was to straight stitch the sides of the top to create this tube top. Then after that, I hemmed the bottom part of the tube top. I just folded it twice like before and just straight stitch it until I reach the other end. Then after that, it would look like this. Let us now appreciate my sewing skills. So now let us now go at the straps or the drawstrings of the ruched detail of the top. So what I did was just remove the stitching of the fabric. So I will have these 3 fabrics right here. So I used the shorter rectangular fabric and just use this as the tunnel for the strings. Now for the strings, I would connect those 2 fabrics and I divided it into 2 to have this 2 long strips of strings. So stitch and connect those 2 together, and after that you will need to fold the sides of the strings inward so you will have this clean hem for the strings. So after doing it on both strings, it would look like this. Get your tube top again and flip it inside out. And to create the tunnel of the ruched detail, I placed the excess rectangular fabric and you need to stitch it 3 times in the middle and also at the sides. And this is where you would insert those strings that you've created. For the sides, I decided to fold it inside and create this hem so that it will prevent it from fraying. After you've created your tunnel for the ruched detail of your top, you will need to insert those strings inside those tunnel, and using a safety pin, it would guide you and it would help you to insert those strings until you reach the other end of the tunnel. Do the same thing to the other string and until you have 2 strings inside of your tunnel or your ruche. Straight stitch the top part of the ruched detail or the tunnel so that the strings would be attached at the top. Now for the last part, you need to do the sleeves of the top. Now for the sleeves, I just divided this fabric into 3. After you folded the fabric equally, you can now go and cut it off. So until you have 3 fabrics on your hand. So I measured one of this fabric around my arm and it would not fit, so I decided to cut off this one fabric and cut it in half. After that, I decided to connect those 2 fabrics together so that I will have a longer fabric for the sleeves. After you've connected those 2 together, you can now add an elastic at the top of your sleeves so that it would scrunch up and it would not be loose. So what I did next was straight stitch those 2 fabrics together so it wouldn't be connected to each other. To finish up the sleeves, you need to connect and create this armhole and straight stitch it like so. So next is you need to hem the sides of your armhole so that it would prevent it from fraying. And do the same thing to the other one. So it would look something like this. It is not that perfect, but it's good for sleeves. So now I have an elastic that I've already cut off and measured around my arm, and I connected the elastic both ends together and just attached the elastic to the sleeves that I've created. So what I did next was I put 2 safety pins on both sides of the fabric so it would help me. Once I start stitching this elastic, I would pull the elastic first before stitching it, as it would help me distribute the elastic to the fabric equally. So after doing the sleeves of the top, you can now go and get your tube top, and this is what mine looks like, and it has this ruched detail right here and it really functions well. So the next thing that you will do is to connect the sleeves and the top together by straight stitching it. Then after that, I fitted my top, but it was still loose at the bottom, so I decided to add a dart at the bottom, 2 darts actually. So I just did a rectangular stitch at the bottom part of the top. So this is the final result of my thrift lift video, and I think this is my most successful thrift lift video. So here's a before and after of the skirt. I really love the ruched detail of the top. You can scrunch it up or just leave it as is. You can also decide what sleeves you want, an off shoulder or not. And I really love this thrift lift video, and I hope you like this one. So that will be it for my thrift lift video. I hope you liked it, and don't forget to like and subscribe, click that bell button